Hello, welcome back to Tomlissa Travels. This is a new little video series we're trying out about all the weird little blah blah. I'll try it again. Let me try that again. Hello, welcome back to Tomlissa Travels. This is a new little video series we're trying out where we talk about all the weird little stories that happen as we explore the world.
Please let us know if you like it in the comments, and do like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks.
Let's begin. So, we start our travels in the Philippines and we arrive in the capital city of Manila. So, unfortunately, Manila is not a nice place and we have to stay here for about 10 days because we have a medical we have to get done for an Australia working visa. So, obviously, we don't want to just be in any old hotel room, so we want to book a nice little apartment. So, in order to do that, we book through Airbnb. We want to play it safe, so we want to book somewhere quite nice, a bit upscale, somewhere a bit safer. So we book into the area of Makati because apparently it's very safe there and there's plenty to do.
So we arrive in Manila at about 2 a.m. and we can't actually check into our Airbnb until 3 p.m. So we have to wait a long time in the airport and there's not really anywhere to sleep, so we make refuge on the floor. And finally, it rolls around to about 2 o'clock when we decide we're getting in the taxi and we're going. We're very tired. We're looking forward to some rest and some food. So it took about 45 minutes to arrive, and when we arrived, it wasn't really what we were expecting. It looked more like a slum, to put it lightly. Very man-made. A lot of people just sort of stood around. It just didn't feel like what we had seen online, the area that we thought we would be booking in. But we go up to the room and people are still cleaning in there, even though we actually arrived later than the check-in. Tom is told, make sure you lock the door for your own safety. So that was the first red flag. And then for me, the second red flag was the fact that there was no toilet seat and no hot water. I mean, that is something that seems to happen quite often in the Philippines. But the fact that there was no toilet seat, I mean, I slipped straight into the bowl. So it wasn't going well by this point. Things weren't looking good. And there was no food nearby. We were so hungry and there was just nothing.
So obviously having no food around us is kind of a big problem because we've been in the airport for 13 hours and we are absolutely starving and so tired, so we just need to get something in our bellies and just worry about this apartment issue in a little while. So we look on trusty old Grab where they can deliver us some food from anywhere. So I find us some food and it automatically comes up with our address. And I'm looking at it and it says 55 Garcia Street, Tondo. And I'm immediately absolutely shitting myself because all the things I've just read in the airport talking about, you will be murdered if you go here. Everyone who goes here is just killed. It is terrible. And it's just all the horror stories and everything. So I start saying to Melissa, do you know what? Maybe we should just leave because I'm trying not to freak her out at this point. I don't want to cause a scene because I'm supposed to be the calm one here. So I am just saying, you know, babe, this apartment's no good. Let's just leave. Don't worry about it, we'll sort the money out later. It's alright, let's just go. Let's just go now. It's alright. And I think it takes a little while before she starts to get the gist that I'm slightly shitting myself at this point.
So I'm starting to get the idea that something is wrong here. I don't know what, but something seems to be wrong. Tom is never usually this uppity about wanting to leave. He's up, he's packing our bags, he's saying, we need to go, let's just go, we need to go right now. So I'm like rushing, trying to book us a new hotel, making sure that it's actually in Makati and somewhere that's got good reviews, and I'm doing this in about 5 minutes. So we found a place. We're trying to look for a taxi, but apparently no one wants to come pick us up. So we're starting to wonder if we're actually going to be stuck here tonight. Finally, somebody comes to pick us up. Yes. We get in the taxi, Tom's throwing the bags in the back of the taxi. All the locals are looking at us like, why are you here? But we get in the taxi and we're on our way to our new hotel. Hallelujah.
So we're in the taxi and I start telling Melissa why I was so desperate to get out of Tondo. And basically I start telling her all the horror stories I've just read, basically saying that there is an average of one murder a week in the area that we were staying in, and some teacher from the Philippines talked about that when she goes there, if you are not careful and you do not dress right and you do not bring the right things, that your body is going to end up floating in the river. And her reaction was something like,
I did not realise we were in that bad of a state. I thought it was just a non-tourist area. I didn't realise we had gone to sign up for our own death.
So finally the taxi takes us to where we were originally supposed to go anyway, which is Makati, the nice area, or, nice by Manila standards anyway, where there is things to do and you are less likely to be robbed, although we nearly were. But that's another story that we'll get to on another episode of Story Time. So we start talking to Airbnb, basically saying, you realise that you booked us in a place where we could have been harmed, like this is an issue, and we start saying to them, we want a full refund. Not only do we want a full refund, but we want something, like a discount on our next stay or whatever. They're being like total dicks about it. They're like, wow, it's not the host's fault if the area is dangerous, it's not their fault. And we're like, we don't have any problem with them. We have a problem with you because you just booked us into Tondo when we looked for Makati. This is kind of an issue.
So we didn't actually realise on Airbnb it does this kind of annoying thing where you look for one specific area but it shows you other areas, and that's how we ended up in Tondo. We looked for Makati but it was advertising other areas, and Airbnb doesn't give you the full address until you've made your booking. That's why we didn't know. We thought we'd be going to Makati, but oh no! We ended up. So in the end, we did get our full refund. We did have to fight for a little while. Not too long, luckily. I have heard some worse Airbnb stories, but we did get our full refund. Because it wasn't cheap. We did pay quite a lot for almost being there. But moral of the story is that Airbnb are
bastards.